Good morning, I am Madhubala from Biological Science Department. Today we are going to see about the micro teaching. Today we are going to focus on only the three skills: skill of stimulus variation, skill of probing, skill of achieving closure. Before we are entering into a topic, first we have to know about what is meant by teaching. Teaching is nothing but it is an approach to understanding the nature of teaching, is establishing a relationship between the teacher, student and the subject also. Teaching is the activity of facilitating is nothing but it is interesting learning. In effectiveness in teaching does not relate to teachers' ages and teaching experience. And before entering into a micro teaching is nothing but it is a small unit of a content is to be delivered to a small group of students in a small amount of time. It is nothing but it is a micro teaching. It is first discovered by the person Dr. Allen and his group evolved micro teaching in the year 1963 in America Stanford University. In this part, to train the inexperienced students as well as the teachers for acquiring the knowledge with the teaching skills also, and this purpose to improve the skills of experienced teachers also. Next we move on to the micro teaching cycle. It is nothing but there are 6 steps on the micro teaching cycle. First one is a micro lesson plans. We have to make take 2 hours or a day for prepare a lesson for teaching the lesson plan. After that we have to teach for 5 minutes. After that immediate feedback session is to be given by from the peer groups or a group or a gang for 5 minutes. After that we there is any negative commands, there is any modification we have to modify. After that we have to replan the session and for 10 minutes. After that we have to reteach for the another group or another topic for a same group for 5 minutes. After that we have to feedback for 5 minutes. Totally the 30 minutes approximately finish the micro teaching cycle. This is the diagrammatic representations of the micro teaching cycle. First one is we have to plan. After that we have to teach, feedback, and there is any drawback we have to replan, reteach and re-feedback also. Characteristics of the micro teaching. In this part there is a duration of the teaching as well as the number of the students also very less. The content is to be divided into a 2 groups or a smaller units. Only the one skill is to be considered at the point of a time. After that immediate feedback session is to be given from the gang or peer group also. It puts the teacher under the microscopic conditions. All the facts and all the faults of the teachers are to be observed very keenly, and the problem of discipline can be also controlled in this part. We are going to, before we are entering into micro teaching skills, first there are 6 skills: introduction skills, skill of probing, explanation, stimulus variation, blackboard writing and achieving closure. First one, skill of probing. Skill of probing is nothing but we have to stimulate, we have to as a teacher we have to asking a questions again and again to make the pupil more thoughtful or more creativity or more understanding power. That's to enable the students to understanding the object or the content is to be deeply in our mind also. That is called as a probing. After that we have to enter into a prompting. Promptings are nothing but as a teacher we have to ask a question. We have to, before we ask a question we have to give a clue, hints or a small modification of that answer that's to be given by the teachers also. That is nothing but it is a prompting. And seeking further information, it is nothing but initial response. People is either incomplete or partially that the students give the correct answer to this teachers also. That the teacher has to help the pupil to clarify the doubt, and the teacher has to elaborate or explain his initial response. That is nothing but it is a seeking further information. After that refocusing technique. Refocusing is nothing but if the as a teacher we are questioning a answer, we are questioning a question to the particular students, means if the students answer a correct response, the teacher refocus the class attention to related the issues to topic already we have seen in the classes also. That is called as a refocusing. Redirecting nothing but with this involves putting the several same question is to be delivered to the several peoples in the classroom is nothing but it is a redirecting. After that increasing critical awareness. As a teacher we have to deliver contents in sequence matter. We have to asking this like questions: how, why, what will happen, what if not, what will happen. This type of critical questions we have to raises in the form of students. After that, skill of stimulus variation. Stimulus means it is an enhancing power. It is a micro teaching can be divided in the deliberate change in the attention drawing behavior of the teacher in order to secure the sustain people attention towards the lesson at the high level also. First one is the components of the skill variation in the stimulus variation. First one is a movement. If this movement, this part is included that as a teacher we have to move from one place to another place to increase the useful shifts for the attention that is gripped by the students also. In this part, as a teacher, first the teacher moves towards the blackboard and write something on it board, and after that the back to see and what the students are going and what the students are doing and what will they happen. It's our table movement. There has to be in a format is called as a movement. And gesture part, in this gesture part, this includes a movement from one place to another place in the form of actioning body movements and draw pupils attention to emphasize the importance of expressions and emotions, indicate the shapes that are come under the gesture portions, and the change in the speech pattern. As a teacher we have a deliberate change in the speech pattern. There is a radical change or a tone in a sequence manner. There is a some high pitch, the low pitch of the speech is in the alternative change of the speech pattern is to be formatted or followed by the form of micro teaching. After that we have to focus. In this part we have to focus on a particular verbal or a gestural portion or verbal with a gestural portion. In the verbal we have to say that listen carefully, look at this diagram. We have to gathering the attention from the particular point of view, that is called as a verbal. And gestural means nodding the head, body movement, that is come under the gestural focusing. After that this is to be concluded, this is to be combined with the two form is called as a verbal and gestural focusing. This includes as two format also. After the change in the interaction, there is a three types of interaction. First one is a pupil teacher interaction and teacher pupil interaction and teacher pupil interaction. In this part there is an interaction between the student or a teacher or pupil or a pupil or a teacher or a pupil. There are come under the change in the interaction session. After that as a teacher we have to deliver a content in a sequence manner or deliberate a very frequent manner. We have to stop in a particular point of view. There is some passing between the sequences, that is called as a passing. That's only what the way they are conveying the information or explaining in order to sustain the pupil's attention. That's called as a passing. Oral visuals, which means this includes the change in the medium of oral as well as the visual or a oral visuals, which through the information is conveyed by the pupils also. Next one is the skill of achieving closure. In this part, the questions of the statement by the teachers that are related to the consolidation part. Consolidation is nothing but we have already seen the part that is to be whole part is to be modified by the last. We have to sum up that and finally we have to conclude it. That form is called as a conclusion. This major point covered by the during of the lesson. After that, the opportunity given by the teacher to the pupils for linking the present knowledge as well as the new knowledge or a past knowledge. After that, that applying knowledge gained during the lesson to be a future situation or a new situation is called as a skill of achieving closure. After that, that is a consolidation of learning by questioning statement. In this point of view, we have to cover the during the lesson into a meaningful whole. After that, while ending the classes, the teacher consolidate the main points with or without the pupils' involvement. For example, if we take one part of a lesson to the students, means we have to sum up the lost part. We have to consolidate. That is called as a consolidate by learning of questioning the statement. After that, that is a cognitive link with what we have already learned. In this part, during the lesson is solving the problems in different situations or new situation. By this approach only, both the teacher and people can know whether or not the people have understood what has been taught during the class situation. That is to be formatted in the cognitive link with what already have learned. After that, cognitive with what follows. In this part, that teacher gives emphasis on relating the present knowledge to the future learning knowledge. For this purpose only, the teacher should give the homework to the students or assignments to the students. The assignment should be in the format of a very carefully planned. After that only, that is to be related in the present knowledge of the students also. In this part, it should be such that most of the pupils can do it correctly. Some of the students is not appropriately correctly, it is partially correct, it is not correct. That is nothing but it should provide opportunity for the students to apply the present knowledge in a new situation. It's called as a cognitive link with what will follows in the particular format. After that, applications or acquire knowledge. In this part of application or acquire knowledge, the sequence manner of the technique enables the learner to apply the new knowledge in the acquire various situation format is called as the application of acquire knowledge. After that, creating a sense, we in this achievement we have to create a new sense or new situation, that the pupils feel that they have already learned this intent to learn for the help them to in the future learning, that are creating a sense of achievement part. And there are some advantages of the micro teaching, and it's only focus on the sharpening part, and we have to develop this teaching skills and eliminate the errors also. And we have to overcome with the negative and overcome with the negative commands, or what will there is a moderate, we have to overcome our phases that moderate formats, and it's enable the understanding of the behavior that is important in the classroom teaching. Afterwards, it provides a expert supervision and constructive and feedback also. After we have to once remember why teaching profession is good. To teach is to learn is a good. Thank you so much. I hope you all understand my topic. Thank you.